Hello everyone, and welcome to our backyard. Usually I tape in the early morning, but today I'm going to tape in the evening. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to share with you hand watering. The video today I would like to do is about needing to hand water. So as I've mentioned, we've installed drip irrigation. We did that ourselves, and I've got drip irrigation on the ground. I have my favorite pot stakes that I use for drip irrigation that gets wonderful coverage inside the pots, and this really saves me from having to water a lot. I'll also use the 1/4-inch tubing that has the emitters right inside the tube that you can see here, and so the water just drips out. And I just use timers that are on the water faucet. So this has helped me greatly in watering. If I didn't have the drip irrigation, I wouldn't be able to have and sustain the plants that I do have, because it does require water when we do not get the rain. But I don't have drip irrigation to my hanging baskets, and it's just not convenient for me to be able to do that because I have and hang my baskets typically either under my trees or in large pole systems. So I have what is called a very lightweight, as you can see here, hose, and it is one of these retractable hoses. So this is actually a 100-foot hose, and it is very light once you drain the water from it. So I use this type of hose and love this type of hose for all my watering. And I mean to say all my hand watering. And that's because I need to carry this hose the distance of my yard. And so that's why I have this 100-foot hose, and it retracts to weigh nothing. And it's very easy for me to pick up and manipulate. I also use a wand that you can get at one of the big box stores. And it just makes it a lot easier for me to water not only high, like if I'm going to water up high, but it also allows me to get back into a garden bed if I need to do any kind of spot watering. So these are not expensive. You can get these really at any big box store. The one comment that I would like to make is I prefer the head, let me get to this, that rotates. Well, it's on a swivel, and the reason I like that is because I can easily water hanging baskets so they don't flow over. So that's kind of a nice feature. So when I turn on the hose, it begins to expand, as you can see here. And I had it all taut, if you will, through the length of the yard, but now it's starting to expand. And let me go to the end. So as you can see, it has expanded, and now I can take it with me and easily water wherever I need to go. I can drag it. I can water far because I've got this handle. It just makes it so convenient, and it is so lightweight to be able to bring this along and to be able to water whatever I need to water. So you might think a hose is a hose, And that's what I used to think too, until I had to drag it around the yard. And hoses can be, especially longer hoses, and I need a 100-foot hose, they can be really a pain to drag through the yard. So I did want to share that these retractable hoses, especially as you get older, are so nice to have. They do have a couple of cons, though, that I would like to share with you. So my purpose is not to convince you to get any particular type of hose, because everybody has pretty much what they like. I just wanted you to be aware of this as something to consider, especially what I have found as I've gotten older. I appreciate not having to drag a very heavier hose around the yard. So now the cons. I purchased a, I should say, a cheaper version a couple of years ago. And I can't remember when I did that video, but I'll link that up at the top so you can see that particular hose review. And I think I got that off of Amazon. And it only lasted a year, and then it broke. Same thing the next year. I think I was able to get the very inexpensive through Walmart, and that only lasted a year and it broke. So what I did is I got a little bit heavier duty retractable hose, and I think I purchased this from Home Depot. And it wasn't that much more expensive, but they aren't cheap. I think this hose was maybe $50. And I hope it lasts more than a year, but I'll be quite honest, if it doesn't, I'm okay with this because of the ease of use now. So I can drag this hose all over the yard by myself and do any spot watering that I need to do. And it's just convenient. So if it only lasts a year, unfortunately, I'm probably going to purchase another one next year, because this has been a game changer for me. And it is purely due to this wonderful lightweightness of this hose. The water is in this hose right now, so let me go ahead and turn it off. And I want to share with you how you do need to get the water out of the hose, because that's what the recommendation is for the longer life. So I will have the hose spout running, and then I'm going to come and just turn off the hose. And then what happens is the hose starts to retract. And it retracts and it comes in, and the water pretty much empties out. And you can see how the hose is retracting. The water comes down to a trickle, and then this 100-foot hose is absolutely easily manipulated. If you want to put it up on a roller to where you roll it up, it's just so convenient. And my next door neighbor had this type of hose, and when I was watering for her when she was gone, I just loved it. And so this is the third year now I've had a hose like this, these retractable hoses, and I've had to buy one every year. So that's the downfall. I have used other hoses, certainly ones that are not as expensive, and they've lasted longer, but they've not been this easy to manipulate. I can just, if you will, manhandle these, and I love it. So what do y'all think? Do you use the retractable hoses? you know, for my hand watering. I don't think I'm going to use anything else, especially now, being retired, and things aren't as easy as they were 20 years ago. So I'll probably always use these. If you have any hints on higher quality ones, I'd be curious. I'm not really interested in the type that, like a hose link that I see on a lot of YouTube channels. And that's because in my yard, I have lots of different nooks and crannies. I don't just have one straight area where I need to take the hose. And I know those are not great for when you have to turn corners or go tight. So for me, a hose that I can easily manipulate is much more attractive. But I fully understand there's all different types of hoses out there, and for each application, they certainly have different advantages, right? For depending on what you need them for. So just curious if you all use these, if you all have been happy with them, if you've been disappointed with them. I absolutely love mine. The only thing that I find so disappointing is they do not last for me. Probably because we have extremely hot and humid weather. I do not let the water stay in the hose, so I am pretty good about releasing the water out. But I think a year is about tops anyway for the lower end of these hoses that I've been able to use them for. So we'll see. This is a little bit better, a little bit higher grade quality. So I'll see if this is going to last a little more than a year. I hope it does. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to share. We've had such high heat and high heat indexes lately, and for all the rain that we received, it's really starting to get very dry now. And so I am having to come out and do some spot watering in addition to the drip irrigation that I have. And so I just wanted to share that with you, what I have found to be very helpful for me in the garden when I'm out having to do my hand watering. I've got a lot of birds that are coming into the yard. So I'm going to zoom in on them, and I'm going to say thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon.